Shabbat Shalom to everybody out there. Shabbat Shalom. This is the day that Yah has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. We're about to come into the fall feast, Yom Kippur, the Feast of Trumpets, and the Great Last Day. All the great times that we are allotted to celebrate the Most High Yah. In this hour, this season, it is truly I'm not going to say it's a blessing. Let's just say it's an honor to be thought of by a divine presence such as Yahuwah in this hour. It is truly just mind boggling. Every time I get on here and every time I talk about Yahuwah in the splendor of Yahuwah, my soul just leaps up and rejoices and happy because he has chosen me to be his messenger in this hour. That right there says a lot. It's overwhelming. I don't know if anybody out there understands what I'm saying to them, but it's overwhelming to know that Yahuwah trusts you with so much in such a time. Again, we're praying for those people over there in Afghanistan right now, the circumstance and situation with the United States withdrawing their troops from Afghanistan, which is always going to be a trip. Let's just face the facts on that. There's no ifs, ands, and buts about that. There's no getting around that circumstance or situation. There's a lot of people that's going to die. There's a lot of people that are going to make it through. So we're just continuing to pray for those people that are involved in that circumstance and situation in Afghanistan. We're praying for all of the victims of the COVID-19 circumstance and situation. It has truly been one of epic proportion. Words cannot explain, nor can they really phantom the epicness of what has been going on in the United States at this present time. I'm just excited that Yahuwah has really given us the opportunity to be in this position today. Now, yesterday we talked about, and we started talking about the corruption of man, and how in the book of Enoch, the fallen angels were used in this this situation. They had made a pact with each other. In the book of Enoch, chapter number 7, we found the pact in verse number 1 through 8. We didn't really go into the pact. We're probably going to go into chapter number 6 today to really get into the whole dynamic of the pact. But it's just the fact to just to be able to see this unfold is just something else. It's just something else, and I am just amazed. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go to the book of Enoch right now because I'm just overly excited about this. We went to the book of Enoch yesterday and we talked about chapters number 7. We talked about chapter number 7, verses 1 through 8. But today, I want to go back. I think I want to go back to chapter number 6. I want to go back to chapter number 6 and really get into the meat and potatoes of this occurrence, as far as how man got to the point where they're at today. I want to give a shout out to all the people that are part of Kingdom Building Institute and part of our masterclass of prophecy that may be joining us. Please, people, on the bottom of our screen, right up under our name, under my name, you see a place where you can donate, where you can financially help this ministry, and we're looking for people to help us financially to continue this endeavor. Hallelujah. We are truly blessed to be here on this day. Let's go into the book of Enoch, chapter number 6. Again, let's go to chapter number 7. Let's continue chapter number 7. We got down to verse number 8, and I want to continue in that light. Okay, again, man has been corrupted. Man has been corrupted since this time, this early time, since the fallen angels have came to the earth. We have not seen a change in that, only because of the prophecies of Enoch. In the prophecies of Enoch, the fallen angels have been bound for at least 1,000 years in a prison of an abyss. Now, if you know anything about an abyss, then you know the abyss is a water grave. Let's go to verse number 8. Let's look at it. After the path has been given, it says in verse number 8, that maintained therefore was called Sherman, because they had sworn upon it and bound themselves by mutual excretions. Verse number 9, these are the names of their chiefs. Of course, Semajah, who was their leader. Let's be very clear about that. The independent band of fallen angels, or watchers, if you will, were led by Semajah. A lot of people like to put Hillel, Hillel being the righteous name of Satan before he left the heavenly host. But Semajah was the leader of that group. Then you had Yekirmiel, Akiabiel, Tamiel, Ramuel, Daniel, Acuyabel, Sesakamal, Azarabel, Armers, Betrayal, Anan, Zerabi. You had Samaziviel, Erituriel, Turiel, Yaniyahiel, Ezekiel. Those were the perfects of the 200 angels, and the remainder were all with them. Now, the 200 angels being a special classification of angels, these 200 angels had their, not only their perfection that was in question, but their mission that was in question, because they were there for a pertinent reason. It says these were the perfects of the 200 angels. In other words, these were the ones that performed in the mightier parts of what they were doing. Verse number 10. Then they took women, each choosing for himself whom they began to approach, and with whom they cohabitated, teaching them. Now, this is interesting right here. Teaching them sorcery, incantations, and the dividing of roots and trees. Now, a lot of you are totally confused right now, because you're like, what does that mean? What does that bring about? This can bring about the production of what we call drugs, illegal substances. They're only illegal because our government has made them illegal because they couldn't make money off of them, not because of what it does to anybody's health. And I just want to make that very clear that there are certain types of drugs that are illegal only because of the money value and not because of what it does to you physically. Let's not get to thinking that everybody cares that much about your physical well-being, because they don't. They don't care that much about your physical well-being. What they care about is the money value, the dollar value of what the physicality of what you're taking and what you're dealing with can amount to their pharmaceutical purposes. I just want to keep it real with you, because there's a lot of people that think that things are illegal because they're bad for you. No, they could care less what it does to you physically. What people are really looking at is the pharmaceutical value, which is dollar value, in which they do. It started with the fallen angels. As you can see, they taught the women because they chose for themselves, women, and they taught the women. That's one of the reasons why women have a much more keen sense of knowing. Somebody don't like what I'm saying to you, but it's the truth. Women have a more keen sense of knowing about certain things because from the beginning of time, women were chosen from the fallen angels to cohabitate with and to mix and mingle into as far as different things. Now they taught them sorcery. Oh, don't nobody want to sit there and talk to me about that. They taught them sorcery. And from sorcery, incantations or potions, if you will. That's another word for the incantations. And the dividing of roots and trees. Of course, the production of things such as cocaine, poppy seeds, etc., etc. This is where that production came from. And I want you to really understand that it was not in the intention of Yahuwah to bring this to mankind. It was not in his intention. But because of the feebleness and the weakness and the creation of the weaker vessel, that the fallen angels saw an opportunity, an advantage to come in and to produce their evil. Verse number 11, excuse me. And the women conceiving brought forth Nephilim or Nephilim, and they bore to them, and they bore to them 3 races. This is very key. 3 different races were produced from the mixing and mingling of the fallen angels into women. 3 different races. Wow, this is really getting interesting. 3 different races. First was the great Nephilim. The Nephilim brought forth, now the Nephilim, that's with an N-A, Nephilim or Nephil. As a matter of fact, let me get it up here as I read it, because I want to get it from the perspective of the book of Jubilees, which I like the perspective. There we go. There's the perspective right there. Now, from the Nephilim would be considered the giants. That's the Nephilim. Now, the Nephilim brought forth the Nephilim, and the Nephilim brought forth the Elud or Eljo, and they existed, increasing in great power according to their greatness. Now, they were great because of the source of what they were. They were the source. The source of what they are is a hybrid human / spirit or angel, if you will. The angels were created for the messenger purpose. So, of course, they were created with greater attributes than the human being probably on the physical level if they were physical, but they were created in the spiritual level. So the attributes of them, hallelujah, were not as such, if you will, not as such. Now, if anybody wants to get with me about that, they can later. But it is really interesting how this came about. I got to read this again so that somebody can really understand. Verse number 11, and the women conceiving brought forth the Nephilim, and they bore to them 3 races. I'm still stuck on that. 3 races that were birthed along with humankind, mankind, if you will. So first you have mankind, and then you have this creation, if you will, of 3 different races. First was the great Nephilim. the Nephilim or Nephil. And then the Nephil or Nephilim brought forth the Nephilim, which the Nephil brought it, they were spiritual, more spiritual than the giants. And then the Nephilim brought forth the Elud. The Elud were the ones of ability, the ones we're dealing with at this current present time. We are dealing with them at this current present time. And they existed, increasing in power according to their greatness. Now, how could they become so great? Because of the weakness of man, because of the amazement of man, the defilement of man, the disobedience of man. I'm teaching y'all something today. Hello, somebody. Then we go to verse number 12. It says, whose stature was each 300 cubits. These devoured all the labor of men, and it became impossible to feed them. Their stature physically exceeded that of man. It exceeded that of man. I just think that's incredible, just to know that there was another race of being that exceeded that of man. It's incredible just to think in that measure. I mean, it was so incredible that man couldn't feed them. You couldn't feed these rascals. Oh my goodness. Verse number 13. And when they turned themselves against man. Now this is really important. You was born of man, but you turned against man. It turned against man in order to devour them. Now some people like to associate this with cannibalism. Now I can't say one way or the other if it was cannibalism. And I'm not going to say whether I believe it was cannibalism, but what I do believe is that they were unnatural and they were not born in the sense of Yahuwah wanting it to be. Absolutely not. I believe that Yahuwah was totally against it. And that's one of the reasons why we're seeing it the way it is today. So I don't want to get into side arguments with people, because there's a lot of people that would love to say that this is where cannibalism got started and all the different things with cannibalism. And I don't know if I agree or disagree with that. Until I get more evidence about it, I will not make a comment one way or the other, but I will bring it to the attention of those that want to be educated, because they need to know the full extent of this measure so that we can get a better understanding. So there's nothing wrong with knowing something and not knowing something and learning it as you go. That's the problem with a lot of people, is that we have not learned things. We are just trying to be something that we're not. I'm not going to go there. I'm going to be nice about it. Verse number 14, and began to inquire birds, beasts, reptiles, and fish, to eat one another's flesh, and to drink their blood raw. In other words, raw products. Then the earth reproved the unrighteous. Eventually, the earth had decided that this was not a natural phenomena, that this was not something that we wanted to see. The earth itself put itself in another position, if you will. It put itself in another position. And when it put itself in that position, it was known to be illegal from heaven. Now, later on, and I'm not going to do it today, but later on, as we find out, the fallen angels were reprimanded for their hideous acts towards man, because you came up against the image of the Creator. But let me go on a more natural side. You know, even though that is phenomenal and that is outstanding and spectacular to learn, let me get into some basic fundamentals that a lot of people are not following, especially by this being a Sabbath and by this teaching being a true teaching. And I want to really emphasize to a lot of people that I'm so keen into truth that is crazy. Okay. For the standard of truth is the Torah, the first five books of the modern day Bible, which is noted in 66 books. But we know that the books of Moses are called the Torah. And we can't get any further when we're dealing with the book, when we deal outside of the books of Moses. We can't really function outside of that. Hello, somebody. So there's a lot of people that have said and set in their mind that they're going to go off of the structure that Yahuwah has set up, same as the fallen angels. Now, the representation of the fallen angel in our day and time would be the rebellion of man to follow his Torah. The rebellion of man, not only to not follow his Torah, but to not follow his commandments. Now, normally I'm not so emphatic about that, but I am seeing in this world that we are living in, with all the calamity that we are seeing and all the miscalculations and wickedness, it is because of the lack of obedience and the lack of participation in that which was given to us to follow. We already know that the fallen angels were going to defy that of Yahuwah because they were already bitter. And by them being created in the celestial realm, anytime the celestial realm mixes or meshes with the physical realm, you're dealing with a greater presence, just like the Superman movies. I mean, I don't know if people really watch the DC comic and Marvel comics. There's a lot of truth to those types of movies as far as the physical prowess of the so-called alien being. There's a lot of physical evidence that a lot of people are not paying attention to, and they probably don't because they don't have a vivid imagination. Every person that's walking this earth needs to have a vivid imagination of things seen and not seen. Seen and not seen. I'm not going to spend all my time trying to explain this to you, but I want you to open up your window, which is your mind of understanding, so that you can see how celestial beings became human flesh. They possessed bodies. Point blank, they possessed human bodies, and the human bodies were injected with a celestial boost, if you will. But the seed was not natural. So because the seed was not natural, then you get the production of these things. And then they taught the women sorcery. You add all that together, what do you think you're going to get? Evil in its purest state. I contest to you that we are dealing with the ancient spirit that was brought to the earth beforehand. And it is manifesting itself because it's coming up out of its prison right now. I say this and I attest this to you, that we are dealing with ancient spirits in present bodies. We are dealing with a manifestation of an ancient spirit that wants to come and destroy the earth realm, because we are that much closer, or we are that close to the kingdom of Yahuwah in this present day time. Or somebody don't like what I'm saying to them, but we are dealing with the present day time of the kingdom of Yahuwah. And the fallen angels, or the rejects, if you will, from the 200, realize this process that is going on. Now, this is really deep for those of you that want to get a deep revelation, that we are dealing with an ancient spirit. We're not dealing with something brand new. What we are seeing in the earth realm is not something that we should be shocked about. It is not something that we should be running around here and like, oh, this is new. This is all the same old spirit. We just got new partners. The human race has not changed, not one bit, because it still has a habit of dibbling and dabbling with sorcery and witchcraft. I just want to tell the truth today. Dibbling and dabbling in that realm puts your mind frame in another stratosphere, another dimension, if you will, a dimension of evil, a dimension of unrighteousness. My goodness. That's why we've got to return back to the original form of the Hebraic language and the Hebraic ways to combat this ancient spirit. Oh, y'all don't like me up in here. We've got to go back to the ancient ways to combat this spirit. If we do not go back to the ancient ways, we will be caught up in a whirlwind, if you will. We've got to return to the ancient paths of the Almighty Father, Yahuwah. In Jeremiah 6 and 16, it tells us plain as day to return to sound spiritual teaching. We've got to go back to the way of the ancient, because we're dealing with an ancient spirit. I'm not telling you that you got to become Hebrew because you're only Hebrew by heritage. You're only Hebrew by heritage. No one can become Hebrew just by saying the Hebrew, but you can become affiliated with the association of the blood through Messiah Yahusha. That's a fact. You can do that. But the truth of the matter is that if we're going to fight this ancient spirit that has diluted itself into the earth realm, we've got to go back to the ancient ways of truth. Y'all better hear what I'm saying. It's not that we want to dress up in African clothes. Well, let me say that. A lot of people want to misinterpret the movement. You can wear you can wear African clothes, and you can wear all different types of things all you want to. That does not make you righteous or holy. What makes you righteous and holy is the understanding of truth and returning to the ancient pathways. And understanding that returning to the ancient pathways will bring about a reverent power in the spirit to fight Satan, to fight the devil. His greatest trick is to show a non-existent flavor of himself. There's a lot of people that don't believe in a divine being, Elohim, God, whatever you want to use in a terminology. There's a lot of people that don't want to believe in that, and it's because of the folly of man. It's mainly because of the folly of man, because of the great folly that man has fell into. Man has fell into this trapping our darker skinned brothers and sisters into a race war, if you will. A lot of people have said that, oh, well, there can't be racism because there's only one race. Well, I beg to differ. Today, I just showed you that there are three other races on the human planet. Even as illegal as they are, there are three other races on the planet. Somebody don't like me. Three other races. I'm going to get those races out. Three other races. You have the giant, the Nephil, and the Eljo, the Eliud, as they say in the Et Sefer or Et Sefer Bible. Three different races. So how do you know what you're dealing with? You're dealing with a spiritual incantation that tries to defeat or defile another race. It has been produced through evil, through the weakness of man. There are other races. There are racists in the spirit. Oh man, y'all don't hear what I'm saying. A race that feels that they are superior. Of course, the Nephilim would consider themselves to be superior when their angelic presence hits the world of flesh and blood. It automatically is superior. Oh, y'all don't like me right now because I'm giving you some facts. It is automatically superior. So we are dealing with a spiritual warfare in a natural realm. That's why we've got to return to the ancient ways to get clarification of spirit, to get clarification of understanding. Oh, I'm trying to help y'all out just a tad bit. It may be working for somebody, but it may not be working for somebody else because deep reaches out to deep. We are in a spiritual warfare. And because we're in a spiritual warfare, we've got to change our point of attack. I know there's somebody out there that's listening to me and that they think they want to know more about this because this is really interesting. When we go into the book of Jubilees, when we go into the book of Yasher, when we go into the book of Enoch, we are now finding out what was revealed or what was supposed to be revealed to us in this hour. It is not that man has taken anything away from us. It's because Yahuwah said that this is the hour that I need my people prepared. This is the hour and the notion that I need my people ready for the truth. Unfortunately, here on the Sabbath class and all the other classes that we do here on the public scene, we are limited in as far as how far we can go with some of the stuff. But we do have classes that meet every Monday and Tuesday. Our master class of prophecy goes in detail when it comes down to these things. And I invite you to contact me, whatever means of contact that you have, to be a part of this that we do. If you've been listening to me and you are really interested and you want to have a relationship with the one that we call Yahushua HaMashiach, some people in the English, they say Jesus the Christ, but we say his proper name through power and exhortation, which is Yahushua HaMashiach. If you want to have a relationship with him and you want to really know him and get to know him, then repeat this after me. Say, Father, I've sinned. Father Abba, I have come to you and I'm no good. I need you to help me through these circumstances and situations. I believe that you sent your powerful son to be executed and died on a tree for me and shed his blood for my sake. I believe that you have done this and that you want to see me grow, and that I believe that through his blood I shall be redeemed. I believe that he died on a tree and he was buried in a borrowed tomb, and he rose again on the third day with all power. I believe that, and he is my Adonai. He is my master and my Lord. If you pray that prayer and you technically believe that prayer, then you are technically what we call saved. Now, the next thing for you to do is to connect with somebody that can bring about the activation of truth in your life and to be able to see you through in the best way possible. You are welcome. If you're watching us on YouTube, all you have to do is subscribe to our page. You're welcome to come and learn with us, to come and get the notices that we have. We are also on Twitter. Dr. Kifa Ben Israel. All you have to do is look me up on Twitter, and you can follow me there, and you will get great information there. These videos will always be here for you, and then you can connect with us, and then we can connect you into our school where you can learn as much as possible. Yes, people, we need your financial help right now. We're embarking upon some serious situations that we're trying to do. We're trying to build a television studio. We've been doing that for quite some time now, but we need you to look at the bottom of the screen, right up under my name, Dr. Kifa Ben Israel, comma Archbishop. We need you to look up under that so that you can find a way to give to us so that you can be a part of this great evolution of the spirit that we are trying to do. You can't do anything without finances, period. So we need you to help us in every way, shape, and form to be able to do the things that need to be done. I believe that the Spirit is about to manifest in this hour, that we are not going to be waiting too long for the second coming of the Messiah. And I also believe that there is going to be a manifestation of power that is going to be given to mankind in this hour through the Spirit. And because of that, we've got to return back to the ancient ways. And we have to return back to the ways that are fulfilling to his anointing so that we can match him when he comes. Hello, somebody. It's all about the truth. I told you I was going to be long with you today. I want you guys to be able to go out and enjoy the rest of the Sabbath until sundown. Enjoy yourself and enjoy all the things that are coming with it. In the mighty name of Yahushua HaMashiach, we love every last one of you. And I want to say to everybody, it's nice to be loved by somebody that loves you. I'm Dr. Kifa Ben Israel, Chief Apostle and Major Prophet unto the body of Messiah, Archbishop in our Lord's Church, signing off and wishing you a wonderful time. Don't forget this afternoon that we will be doing our power discussion. If you are subscribed to our YouTube page, you should be able to receive the alert of our power discussion this afternoon. I'm not going to talk about much of what we're going to talk about it. We're just going to talk about it and get it out the best way we know how. Somebody say, you love yourself and you love somebody. I'm Dr. Kifa Ben Israel signing off, saying Shabbat Shalom to you until the next time this afternoon or this evening for some of you in our power discussion. Blessings to you and Shabbat Shalom.